Assalamualaikum, my name is Nuramalia Haneesha binti Mazlan and my Matric number is 205358. So for today, I'm doing a basic archery courses. So we have a 3 objective, which is develop basic skill in archery. Second is basic knowledge of equipment and function. And third is the rule and safety in archery. So before doing shooting, I'm going to brief to you what is the equipment. So first is riser that have aluminium and carbon inside. This is a grip that has a wooden grip, and this is a string, bowstring, and this is a upper limb, and this is a lower limb. So this is a rest to put the arrow on it, and this is clicker for professional archers, and this is a plunger button. This is sidebar, and this is side pin, and this is a stabilizer, short stabilizer to stabilize the bow, and this is a long stabilizer. And so this is a weight on left and right of the bow. So this is a bow stand to put a bow on it. Archery, this is a chest guard. So this is arm guard. This is a finger sling. So this is a finger tap. And lastly, this is an arrow puller to pull the arrow. Okay, so this is an arrow, and this black is arrow shaft, and this is a bullet or point, and this is a spin wheel, and this is knob. Okay, so the function of this quiver is to put arrow inside on it. So there are 9 basic skills archery. First thing first is stance. So you must face here and like that. And secondly is grip. The hand must put like this. Okay. So third is hooking, which is you must use 3 fingers only. Okay, like this. Okay. So this is a full draw. So full draw is like this. And next is anchoring. You must put your hand under your jaw. You must aim the target. So second last step is release. You must let go the string and follow through. This is the last step. So for 9 basic steps in archery. So do you have any question?
Yes, I have a few questions about finger tap. Why we must wear finger tap?
Is it because to avoid the injury and protect fingers from any harm? And
Oh, I understand. So what about arm guard?
the function of arm guard is to protect your arm from getting hit when you release. Have any other question?
Yes, I have a last question. Why we must not play with bow and arrow?
So as we know that bow and arrow is a weapon and it can be dangerous to other people. So that's all. Thank you.
So hello Adiba. So we meet again for today's session. You remember right what we learned before this? About
Yes.
basic step on archery equipment and accessories. So I'm glad to see you again. So before this we do a physical meet on physical, but today we meet on online meeting. So I hope if I explain this to you, you can imagine it. And I know that you also know a little bit about archery, and so with this training, you will know details about this. So for today's session, I will explain to you about what is safety and rule in archery. You must know that before you do the shooting, you must be concerned about this. As you know, right, bow and arrow is a weapon that you cannot play with. Then in archery, safety is very important. If you do not follow this, you might get banned from the sport. If you have any question, you can ask anytime and I will answer it immediately. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So it's okay. You just make it fun only. Okay, let me share screen first. Okay, so I proceed. So the topic today is rule and safety in archery. So next is okay. I'll explain the several things that I will explain today. So first is when you enter the field, the first one is you must put the arrow into bow on the shooting line only. If you not follow this, you might have to leave the field immediately. Then the bow and arrow must be direction to the target only. So you can see the picture that the bow toward the targets only. So next is okay. So after doing a shooting, the archers have to wait behind the shooting line. That is called waiting line because have to wait all the archers to finish the shoot. If you wonder what is line that have in competition area, I can tell that there are 3 lines, which is waiting line, shooting line, and 3-meter line. So this is a waiting line that is called also media lane. Then there's also have shooting line when we do a shooting. Then there also 3-meter line. So for 3-meter line, this line is to measure whether the arrow cross this line or not. If your arrow not cross this line, you can make another shooting be replaced with the other arrow. So if your arrow cross, you cannot make a shoot, then arrow will define as miss. So I hope you can imagine what the line. Then, so finish the shooting. On your way to the target, archers have to look down because there might be an arrow not reach the target. Then at the target, there's only one archer pull the arrow on one time and make sure that there's nobody in front of the target to avoid injury happen. Then once archer retrieve the arrow, archers must not run. You just have to walk as usual. Then come back to make another shooting. Archers have to wait at the waiting line, then make sure that there's nobody at the front. So you can see the picture clear that there's nobody in front of the target. So next is you must stop shooting if there's animal or people in front because to avoid any injury happen. Then you cannot wear slippers, sandals that show the feet. Then the clothes must not loose to avoid string hit when you release it. Then lastly is drink that can make drunk, not allowed before shooting. Okay, so for addition, archers cannot shoot the direction to the air or to other side. So next is additional that I want to explain about the injuries. Then there are 3, which first is jari bernanah or berdarah. Then second one is have the bruise on the arm, and lastly is shoulder pain. Okay, so for jari bernanah, the cause of it is because you hook at fingertip. You remember, right? The hook is like this, 3 fingers only, and you hook at the fingertip. Then it can cause because the string hit your fingertip every time. Then second one is caused also from the use of finger tap. Then for the solution of this is you can use a sharp needle or something sharp to poke the nana or blood. The second you can take one is you can put the antiseptic to avoid infection happen. Then so the bruise on the arm, the cause of it because the hit by bowstring every time, like fingertip that I explained earlier. The second one is because you not twist your arm. The twist is like you not twist your arm at the right way. Then the body posture also cause of the bowstring hit your arm. Then lastly is because your clothes is very big and loose. Then for the solution of bruise, you can just put the ice on it, on the bruise, and maybe it can heal on 2 or 3 days. So for the shoulder pain, it because you overuse it. You overuse your shoulder. The second one is your poundage bow too high that might not suitable with you, with your weight or something. That might you overuse it. And lastly is warm up. The warm up is very common thing for the sports. Every sport that not do a warm up, you might get an injury. So warm up is very important to avoid the pain or something else or injury. Then for the solution of this, you can put the ice same as bruise, like I said earlier, and maybe you can rest until heal itself, maybe for 1 week or something. And I had experience with the jelly banana that it can cause me cannot shoot for 2 or 3 days because very pain hurt and that. So I think that's all for the rule and safety. So thank you. Thank you, Adiba.
Thank you.